In my previous video, I said that I was going to do another video why I believe the Deputy President of Kenya, William Ruto, is corrupt. Now, if it was a life and death question, and I'm asked to say whether I believe Ruto is corrupt or not, and that I'm not allowed to say I don't know, then I would say, even if it is life and death, I would say that he is corrupt. Now, I'm saying this because there are times when the evidence is there, but because of our affiliations or because of our tribal affinity, we don't want to see the evidence that there is because we are loyal to that person. Now, I'm saying that if it is life and death, I think many people would want to get it right. And then you'll have to consider the evidences that there are and get it right. Now, certain things, of course, will involve a lot of thinking to get it right. Let me just give an example. If you get an exam where they tell you that Dorcas' mother had 5 daughters, and their names were as follows: Monique, Faith, Susan, and Judith. And now the question comes, what was the name of the 5th daughter? Now, somebody may say we are not told, but if you think through the statement how I started, then of course you will know the answer. Now, there are certain times when we don't want to get to the answer because we are fatigued, we don't want to work our brain to get to the answer. Or maybe sometimes it's just that the answer does not play well for us. It is not gratifying our position. So we don't want to go there. I remember there was a time when the Pharisees came to Jesus and asked him a question. And of course, they were testing him. So he asked them back the question. He said that I'm going to answer you if you answer me the question that I'm going to put to you. Of course, they knew the answer, what Jesus was asking, but the answer was not going to play well for their position. It was not going to gratify them. So they told Christ that we don't know, because Christ was asking them that John the Baptist, when he came, did he come from God, or what do you say? Then they knew that if they said he didn't come from God, then people are going to stone them. But if they said he came from God, then Jesus was going to ask them, why then didn't you believe in him? So they wanted to escape. They said, we don't know. But they knew the answer. So there are cases when we want to say that we don't know, but actually we know the answer. If I was asked and I'm told that my life depends on getting it right, that do you believe that Ruto, the president, the deputy president of Kenya, is corrupt? I would say that he is corrupt because there is enough evidence to point to that direction. Now, people who steal may not steal in a way that it is obvious they have stolen. And sometimes you can know that somebody has stolen even if you didn't see that person stealing physically. There are those things we call circumstantial evidences. It's like there are some of these things that somebody can do that you can join together to help you come to a conclusion. Now, if you remember the case of NYS 1, when Raila started making noise that there is money being lost in NYS, Ruto came up fighting, and he didn't mince his words. He was of the idea that Raila was malicious, and that if Raila had anything against Waiguru and Waiguru, or anybody else in that, for that matter, he should talk to them, him, the deputy president, and the president Uhuru Kenyatta. And he maintained that there was no money that was lost. He came up really quick. Now, later on, it came out that there was indeed money that was lost in NYS. And now the same Ruto was saying that how can you cut work on us and the public money has been stolen? Now, I don't expect a deputy president to behave like that. He could have investigated these matters before he comes out to speak very strongly. Now, there are certain things that may take the expert investigations to dig out the truth, but there are certain things that we can know even if we are not experts. The way God created us, there are things, there are body languages, there are many things that can help us understand that there is something that is amiss in somebody's life, or somebody has done something, even though we can't see that thing happening, but we can know that somebody has done something. I remember when we were in primary school, maybe this is not a very good example. Some people may consider it uncouth to use this example, but let me use it all the same. Once in a while, somebody farts. We used to call it spoiling the wind. And when it starts smelling, of course, people will start to wonder who has done this. There are these people that are so harsh that if you look their direction, they will start fighting. And so we used to say, Jakwodo oyedao. That means that the one who has farted will spoil for a fight if you want to implicate him. Now, that spoiling for a fight was to defend themselves, that, you see, it is not me. But the more they were spoiling for a fight, the more it was evident that they were the ones that were culprits, that had done that heinous act. And so there are certain things that even at that age, at that young age, we would tell that if you come out so strongly defending something, then chances are that you are the culprit. Based on that, when you look at the way the deputy president has been coming out fighting, then it makes it interesting. You could easily say that there might be something here. Because again, when the case of Kimwarer and Aror Dam came up, the DCI had started some investigations. They were investigating some people. And nobody had pointed a finger to the deputy president. And immediately that case came up when the DCI came up with the issue that 21 billion Kenya shillings must have been lost through corruption. The deputy president came out fighting, saying that the money in question is only 7 billion. Why didn't he allow these people just to carry on with their investigations without him coming up to start fighting? That was very interesting, because that again could have easily meant that he knew something that the investigators could easily have called him to go and maybe explain some few things. But of course, he's a big man in Kenya. And as we know in our country, those big people, sometimes even if they have done something wrong, the impunity is there, they are covered. But I think if the way the deputy president behaved, if it was in these civilized democracies, I would call it, then he would have been called to go and explain some few things, because these people had just started the case and he had come out fighting. I would not be surprised later on when it is established that for sure money had been lost. And of course, we know about Weston Hotel. A deputy president, if he was going to buy land, he should engage a lot of investigation to find out that that land is buying is clean. But again, of course, he confessed that the land was fraudulently acquired by people he bought it from. That was not supposed to be a deputy president doing something like that. So for me, If God asked me that I want you to give me the correct answer, the answer that I do not know is not part of the answer I'm expecting from you, then I would say there are so many things that are pointing to some question mark in the way the deputy president has been behaving. And of course, all this money is contributing in the Arambes. Imagine God knows everything. God knows everything. There is nothing that you can do that God doesn't know. And if God knows that these monies you are bringing to the church is not a clean money, and you bring them all the same, I think it is trying to mock God, and God can never be mocked. And I have come to think that there are people who invoke God's name, but they really don't know who God is. It is interesting. Look at the case of King Saul. King Saul was instructed by God to go and destroy the Amalekites. Amalekites had stood in the way of the children of Israel when they were coming from Egypt. And God did not like that, so he wanted to avenge what they did. So King Saul was sent to go and destroy them. And the instruction was that he was going to destroy everything. But he spared certain things, claiming that those things were so good. And when Prophet Samuel came to confront him, he said that they spared the best that there was because they wanted to offer those things to God. Really? God say destroy them, then you say, no, God, this one is too good to be destroyed. I'm going to give you this one. That is a joke. I don't think we can tell God that, you see, your church needs money. Let me go get some money, even if it is not in a clean way. Let me go get that money and bring to the church. Because now the idea is that people consider him to be so generous, he's giving to the churches. You don't have to steal money to bring to the church. God says, no, you are not supposed to steal. And then you say, no, I'm going to steal and bring it to you. That is a big joke. So I think the evidences are there that if it is true that the deputy president is not corrupt, then that would really be something. But now the question is, there is corruption. Now, who are these people who are fleecing the country of billions of shillings? And even the investigations are not quick to get to these people. It is taking a lot of time for these people to be apprehended. It means that these people are big. They are big people. And the way everybody else is behaving, including the thieves, are saying this is, they are not accepting that they are stealing. Of course, they can't accept. And so it leaves it with us to sort out who can these people be. And of course, we know that there must be this high and mighty, these powerful people in the government. Anybody, you and me, you can't just go and steal that lot of money that is going to affect even the economy, and you get away with it. You can't do that. They are these big people. And so we can ask ourselves, who are these corrupt people that are fleecing the country of billions of shillings? Who are they? Who are they? Is it impossible to get to these people? Is it impossible to get to know who these people are? Of course, we can tell that these people are the very people that are coming out and talking against corruption. They are the ones who are corrupt. In one of the earlier videos, I said that this idea that we cannot politicize the fight against corruption is a misnomer. The politicians are the ones who are corrupt, and you cannot discuss corruption in the absence of politics. The only bad thing is dirty politics that some people engage into. But if you say that there's a politician who is corrupt, of course, then politics comes in. And of course, like I said in an earlier video, that It is politics that put people into positions of power, and therefore when we are discussing their corruption, the politics has to come in. So I think with that, I would leave it at that and say that we need to be very careful, because to behave as if leadership only attract angels, that would be a very big mistake. Leadership attract people, some of whom are so bad, and if we allow them to do whatever they want to do, then we are in for a big problem. Let us insist on moral values of the country. And one more thing, justice, because God is on the side of justice, justice will never be beaten. Justice is like a dog doing a marathon. Now let me explain. You see, dogs have very good sense of smell. And dogs have stamina. They can run long distances. A thief, for example, is somebody who steals and wants to get away from that place, from the place of crime, very quickly. And so they will steal and get away very quickly. Now, when a dog comes and starts smelling and stalking them, they will run and burn themselves out. But the dog has the stamina. It will run and keep the pace, and with that smell, he will track the thief and catch up with the thief. That is how justice is. Justice is a dog running a marathon. And be rest assured that the thieves will be caught at one point of time. They will be caught. And so I advise people who are in power, please do the right thing. Don't steal, because if you steal, a time will come when you are in power, when you are no longer in power, and the people in power may want to follow you up. You have no control over what is going to happen next. Do the right thing. Don't engage in corruption, because when now things turn around, it will be too bad. I will leave it there and reflect on the things that I've talked about.